overall, it's been a pretty good week. Let's not run into Tim's trailer. It's been a pretty good week. I'm up here at the burn. I figured I'd start my video now. I was going to do them tomorrow on Sunday, but I wanted to talk about the horses that just raced. The two fillies that just raced in the Stallion Series. I have to do it before I'm supposed to race in the 13th. So I thought I would do a video. Overall, the week was pretty good. You can see some changes happening in the structure of the barn. What horses, we had some horses that were sold and some other horses that will be. And I know we've talked about this ad nauseum with a number of people. Ooh, that must be race 11 going by the half. Yeah. And we've talked about it over and over and over and over again about it. I don't want to beat that term, so we'll leave that alone. As our summer starts to take shape, you're going to see horses change directions, right? Case in point was today. I had said to Tim after. Tim had said to me after the race with Aguilera, and I'll talk about that in a second. He said, you know, Poconos on the 29th? I said, or no, Poconos in 10 days? I said, no. The Stallion Series, much like the Grassroots or the Buckeye in Ohio, is wonderful if you can win them. Aguilera AM is at a point right now, she's touching up on her jack. Here, I'll show you where she's hitting. I got her shoes right here. There's her hind boot. See this mark right here? That was not her. She hits up in this area, but the problem I have after Aguilera AM's race was both her boots right here. Now, I think I might have outsmarted myself. I had leather stitched on the outside of these boots to absorb concussion, but the leather sticks out about, what would that be, a quarter of an inch or, no, not even. Well, enough. You see where it sticks out? I think it was enough where she might have caught it. You might have seen a couple of those steps were because of those boots, but she wasn't comfortable today. I did an interview before the race, and the race announcer, I believe, was the one doing the interview, and he was asking about Aguilera AM and how good she looked 2 weeks ago, and then that break in Philadelphia and how fractious she can be. You know, what's your take on that? I said, quite frankly, I don't have a take on that. I can tell you that she's better when she's quiet and she warmed up hot. So you take that for what it is. She was, for a filly that warmed up hot, for a filly that was hitting herself, and she's bruised that shin up high, that jack area and that shin very hot, and she did strike it a number of times today. Now, I didn't hear it, and I can't tell you where she did it. All I can tell you is she most definitely did. So, where do we go from here? Very talented filly, lots of speed, not a lot of wins, not a lot of money. Lots of upside, and always will be for a horse like Aguilera AM. Stallion Series, no thanks. To pay $250 or whatever the hell it is, $200 to race for twice as much as I can race here at home, 6 hours away, not really that appealing to me. Aguilera AM, as I said to Tim, got to get her out of that shin. That will not be an easy thing to do. It won't be. Worst case scenario, I think we spend a lot of time in the water getting that reactive shin that's bruised under control, and I think that's a big part of it. Now, keep in mind, we know what this filly's Achilles heel has always been, and it wasn't that shin. It was her AST, her muscle count, her tie-up problems, and that's not to say she didn't tie up today. She very well may have. It's a pouring rain, miserable day. She shipped here from Ohio this week. She trained in Ohio this week. I would not wager any money. I wouldn't even wager with good odds that she didn't tie up. She very likely could have. I can tell you what she absolutely is. She's tough. Because if you watch the race closely, she almost ran in every turn, and I could see how James would lose her last week in Philadelphia. Not going in, I went in with the mentality, make sure she trots. I look to my right, two of them are on the run. I'm getting paid. We're getting paid today. She's not making a break. So find a nice soft spot in the track, a nice comfortable track where she can collect her thoughts and keep her at her work. If you watch closely, she almost made a break in every turn at the Meadows today. Not horrible. I think a little worse than subtle, but she almost did. And somebody say, well, she almost run. No, she didn't run. That's how tough. That was a much improved mentally speaking, Aguilera AM before she would have rolled off every time. Now she's collecting her thoughts and understands what her work is and enjoys her work. She enjoys beating horses up. she had her sights set on the front two, but definitely the one in third. And you can see in the last turn, she's trying to lean forward. She puts a couple of steps in, probably hits herself, and comes forward down the lane. Down the lane, you just pitch the lines over her back. She was safe as a church. So, the biggest problem is the turns. She's interfering and hitting her shins in the turns. This affiliate's also paid into Kentucky. Keep in mind, Kentucky, you can race barefoot. Aglaire AM barefoot on a nice clay track. You might see the Aglaire AM in Kentucky if we go that route that James swears she is. And I'm not to argue with James with the filly. I don't think she's a Grand Circuit filly like he thinks she is, but she's got talent, a lot more than she showed today. In fact, even a glimpse of her win 3 weeks ago, that was a glimpse into her talent. That was a filly that was a training mile for her. At no point did I think she would lose, could lose, and at no point did I even have a feeling she would even be remotely close to losing. I moved her over with the utmost confidence that she was going to blast by, and she did. So Aglaire AM, not an awesome day on the track. We were underpaid, but we were paid. And rule number 1 while driving a trotter is keep them trotting. So a little check mark beside Aglaire AM. Lots of room for improvement. We see the issues. Optically, left hind, up high in her jack. She's hitting. Gonna have to make some shoeing changes to address that. But internally, what we can't see, I'm more interested in, what's that AST count look like? So we'll get to that today. That's a big no for the Stallion Series coming up at Poconos. We're not going anywhere. She's going to stay here. We're going to race her right here at the Meadows. Won My Heart Hanover, as I said in the interview. Not quite as powerful as the other filly, but much handier. Coming out of the gate, I see the 1 and the 4 leaving. And I know the 4 horse is coming out of there hard, but Won My Heart Hanover is an idle. I could drop her in the 2-hole, but I thought I'd put the 4 horse in a bad spot. He wanted to follow the 8. He wanted to push through and put me in the 2-hole. Fine, make me. And he tried to when he made a break. And when he made a break, I thought, I'm second. 8's going to clear to the front. That 8 horse was almost a sire stake horse. That horse was much better than a Stallion Series. That horse overpowered everybody. Sucked the life out of Won My Heart Hanover. Did the flip-flops play a role? Did the hobbles play a role? I told Tim after, I said, you know what would be nice? I'd like to race her or qualify her without hobbles. She feels like a different horse. She feels comfortable now. She feels confident now. At no point do you feel, oh, I might lose her. She might make a break. She's just a sweetheart to drive. Turned into a very, very nice filly. And I'll tell you, she doesn't have to be a faster horse than some of those other fillies. She just has to stay handy. And she is very, very handy. Only mustered a 5th with her. But again, a good bunch in front of her. I think they went 54 in a piece. Like, that's insane. This track is slow and sloppy today. Usually I told you when it rains here, it gets hard and it can get fast sometimes. That's not this. It's misting all day. It's not a great track. That mile is a legit good mile for trotters. Both the fillies raced well. One showed a lot of grit and determination to get her work done and finish 3rd. Attack, finish off what she could in the mile and finished 3rd. She raced great. And the other filly, just handy as hell and did all she could. She raced very, very well. Also, looking back on this week, I don't want to miss anybody. White Tiger. Huge mile for White Tiger. I told everybody in a video yesterday, White Tiger was in a bad spot 4 or 5 weeks ago. His liver count was just too high. It just was. You can't overcome it, right? This isn't, muscle through it. You just can't. It's like a leg cramp. It's not mind over matter. You just can't do it. And as that liver count started to come down, you started to see, that race with Dave Peloni was terrible. It wasn't Dave's fault. I talked to him after the race. He said to me, he goes, I can't keep that horse quiet. He said, geez, he's so quiet when you go with him. I said, Dave, that wasn't your fault. Horse was not good. His liver count was high. It's starting to come down. I schooled him last week, and we were not going to race him until I was comfortable he could do well. Schooled him last week. I said to Tim, he's getting there. I think he's ready to race. Make no mistake, his liver count would still be twice what it's supposed to be, and he still went out and looked great yesterday. Again, muddy track, weaker horses, but a big confidence builder for White Tiger. You might see this horse come forward in a big way. If Tim can keep that liver count under control, keep him comfortable, keep him happy, we might see a glimpse of the horse we've seen. That's always White Tiger, right? He shows you little glimpses, little trailers all through his career of what things could be. ahead, and he's a frustrating horse, but he's a lovable horse also, and I was super happy. For me to have a smile on my face in the mud, I might be smiling now. Inside I'm frowning, very frowning because of the mud. But happy with the way the fillies raced today. I know it wasn't a super lucrative day, but happy with the way the fillies raced today, but very, very happy with how White Tiger raced this week. Another horse that this was a week of horses, the what if horses. Could this horse come back? Is this horse coming in the right direction? What if we did this? What if we did that? The what ifs were racing this week, and they come out swinging. Spirited Dio made her way all the way back from the East Coast. I talked to Andy Miller today about her, and he said, I watched the race. I see she won. He said, I see the hobbles on her. He said, they didn't look super tight, but I know after talking to Tim, I couldn't pull them in that tight. It just didn't make any sense. She's an enigma. She's just one of those horses where if her hobbles aren't on tight, she just can't function. She can't attack. She doesn't have the confidence to go with a longer hobble. And it's not that she didn't have a chance. John Boutenshane had her at 2, tried to qualify her with no hobbles on and a loose hobble. Failed experiment. Fast forward to this year, same thing with Andy Miller. She should be able to trot. This is a guy that knows trotters. We're not talking about a guy, geez, I don't know. I had to look up trotter and Google. I have no idea. This is a guy, him and his wife have won everything. And they struggled with Spirited Dio. So just a tricky trotter that we get along well with and come out good. Make no mistake, Spirited Dio might have won the other day, might have won a big last half, might have looked like $1 million. I give her around 80-85%. That's what she was at. So I think she's 4 starts from being even close to being the Spirited Dio we were hoping for, the Spirited Dio we were looking for, and most certainly the Spirited Dio we expected as a 4-year-old mare. So I think that's to come. The best is to come with this mare. But she won. She did great. Mama knows best. I love what I see from this filly now. She's quiet. Before, if any of you guys were around the Burn area or watched her train down, or even go back and look at her yearling and 2-year-old videos, I said she washes out too easy. On the track, she just foams up all the time. She's agitated. She's anxious. She has anxiety on the track. And Jason's done a great job keeping her quiet. Keeping her trained up, keeping her tight, but keeping her quiet. And she jogged the other day. She raced so well in the mud. But what I liked about her, the composure. She's not hot coming out of the gate, just crazy. In fact, she doesn't even want to leave that much anymore. And then when I could see what was happening in the first turn. And I said, no, I just aborted everything and just bailed right around everybody. Enough. The fiasco was enough. One was on the run in the middle, on the dead run. Another one was looking to run. This guy in behind me is looking to scab me out of the hole. No. I just wheeled her right and went around everybody. I knew the 2 guys up there both knew that I had a better horse and they weren't going to take me. So I just continued on with Mama Knows Best. Got her a little breather. Had a little scare maybe halfway down the backstretch. I went to start her up and I'm like, oh no, maybe a little power outage here. And then around the last turn she does touch herself in the turns. And I think she was smarter than I was at that point. She said, you know what, why don't we just wait till we get through the turn and then I'll trot away. Okay, deal. And that's what happened with Mama and raced good. I'm a lovely lady. Used her a little hard to get to the lead, and was beat fair and square, but raced great. Tried 56-4, 57. I thought she raced fantastic. A big mile from her this week, and the horses, I guess, put a smile on my face. That's my girl. I was happy that she was a handful, but I was able to take her back and race her from off the pace. She was so much more effective, at least in the qualifier, at least at Northfield Park, from off the pace. If this filly gets her head on straight, she could be a decent filly. She's got all the tools, and she's fast enough. Trotted her last half in 56-4, 57 seconds, and looked really, really good doing it. So very happy with That's My Girl, but the smile was already on my face from the first qualifier. Jazzy Judy went out and looked absolutely fantastic. I couldn't be any happier with Jazzy Judy. I talked to Jim King Jr. For about 20 minutes. We talked a little bit about West 52nd and what we want to see going forward. He thinks he can probably win that class that he drops into next week, and then after that, let's have another conversation, which I like. I like that about Jim. He's a super professional guy, and I love talking to him on the phone. We talked about Jazzy Judy, and he said, "Oh, so happy to hear that. That filly should be really, really good this year. We're going to requalify her next Thursday, and then we'll either look for a race for her here, or I was told there's a race in Harrington for 3-year-old. They're going to card a 3-year-old Delaware bred fillies race, a prep race for those horses on the 9th, I believe. Yeah, the 9th, 7 days before. So super happy with Jazzy Judy. Now, leading into those qualifiers, we had a number of qualifiers. Now we had the nightmarish day from Thursday, where I got nonstop emails and calls wondering what happened with the horses. And as I made a lengthy video about that earlier in the week about what the issue was, it was a combination of expectations and more off a plan that was not divulged to our clients, which was kind of important. So a drop the ball situation for me, but the horses went good on Thursday. I was happy with no free lunch. A number of those horses, they're going to come back with much, much stronger qualifiers next week. And that was the plan. The crux of the video was, I'm sorry, I didn't divulge what our plan was. When we got the firm date of the 14th, that did change everything. Qualify the horses this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, come back with a much stronger qualifier the week after, and then a stern, firm training trip 4 days out or so to get the horses ready to rock, and then race them. That was the plan. It makes sense when I say it out loud because that's how it was unpacked to me. And it did make sense. This isn't a situation where let's qualify them and see if if they're okay to put into race. There's no racing. 17 days from Thursday to the first race card. So there really was no sense of urgency now that we had that date, now that we had qualifiers. The only urgency was when they gave me the 14th date and they weren't clear whether there was qualifiers, and I assumed if they can't race, they can't qualify. I told the vet, draw bloods on all of them. They're all coming here until the sire stakes are ready to go. That was the only sense of urgency last week, and then it was clarified. The lunacy from the government, can't race, but you can qualify. Makes total sense. Just another bonehead move, but very fortunate for and I'm sure great lobbying by Jim Lawson and Jessica Buckley. The job they've done has been tremendous. They've done everything they can, short of I've been a little militant, a little angry towards the government on social media. And I think I can. I have a family that relies on horse racing, much like many people do in Ontario. I think mistakes were made, and I don't think the government cared. I think they were up against a huge problem and did what they thought was the best to fix it, which I disagree with. But that's coming from a father and a horseman, certainly not anybody of any capacity in Ontario. So the job that Jim and Jessica done, it must have just been so stressful and hard for them also, because getting those emails and those phone calls and text messages from people that are starving, people that are going to have tough time paying their bills, paying their help, paying the feed guy, paying the blacksmith, and that that trickle down effect. One guy doesn't pay, then another guy, then the blacksmith can't pay his supplier, then the supplier. I don't have to tell you where that leads provincially as far as agriculture is concerned. Listen, I think it was a mess. So glad that hopefully it's over on the 14th. As I sit here on what, May 28th, 29th, no mask, nor do I have to wear one anywhere on the track anymore. I'm vaccinated. Further to being vaccinated, I had COVID. So, when it comes to the summer here in Ohio and Pennsylvania, unless something ridiculous happens, for the most part, it's over here. At least optically. Again, there's a lot that still has to be opened and changed and reviewed and policies put in place. But for the most part, from just a guy out in public, it feels great. So I apologize to the people in Ontario that are probably spitting at the phone right now or their video, but hey, good news is that's what we're going to get to sometime in Ontario. So circling back, talking about the qualifiers, that's my girl Jazzy Judy. I was so excited. Thursday, there were some standouts in Ontario, but overall with a slow day, and again the expectations being a little high, it was a depressing day. Friday came out, qualified Barbie's Crown, and then she qualified poorly and we sold her after. So don't think that I'm just callous and just selling your horses. This is a horse that Steve Palermo and I had and took a bath on, but it had to be done. We have too many maiden trotters right now to hang on to one that might do. Maybe if she draws a good post and we get in with bad horses and there's some breakers, maybe a couple are sick that week. Steve knows the difference. I felt like an idiot because I lobbied to keep her. I lobbied to keep this filly for these 2-3 months, and as I said to Steve, that's on my shoulders, nobody else's. So we sold Barbie's Crown. She's gone. Tanzanite Tricks, very happy with Tanzanite Tricks. Going to start letting those hobbles out. She's starting to mature. I like this filly. I can't wait to see her race this summer. The horse that I thought caught my eye the most, we had expectations for Walking the Moon. He looked good. Great job by Mario. But Northern Blizzard, I thought looked fantastic. James, Johnny, Shelby, that owns a piece of this horse and is over here working with us and took care of Northern Blizzard for a long time, did a great job with this horse. He looked great. He looked very, very good. And it wasn't just that he followed speed. You know, he come on and get jammed up, come out around horses, finished up strong. He looked like a horse, and he looked comfortable and confident. I was super pleased. I'm moving now because I'm in the next race. Northern Blizzard, just an exceptional qualifier. Congratulations to Mario, did a great job with the horse. Johnny did a great job with the horse. Just really, really happy for everybody around. Can't Muscle Me, I'll give you a mulligan, but you're going to have to do more. I think there's more there to offer. There's much more there under the hood for Can't Muscle Me, but I'd like to see a qualifier in 2-1 next week, and maybe even a third qualifier for her. We'll see. Tipsy and Dixie looked fantastic on the track. Really happy with her. Harry's done a great job. Can't wait to see her race. Can't wait to see her race this summer. And then, of course, ending off with Walk on the Moon. I thought he looked very, very good. Very happy with the way that horse looked racing. Looked racing in or qualifying on Friday. Then we come back today, Saturday. We had Peanut, look good. Chris did a good job, fanned him out. He looked like he finished up strong. Like to see him qualify in 55, 56 next week, and then march forward when racing opens up. And then Miss Brampton Beast actually looked good. I was very happy with Miss Brampton Beast and what she has done and accomplished. At least over the last 2 months. Looks like she's got some pop to her. Can't wait to see her race this summer also. So for Pam and everybody that stayed involved with Miss Brampton Beast, good luck in the summer 2021. Now, I'm not going to do, I haven't made my mind up. I didn't think I was going to do a top 10 this week, but I will give you some updates of our horses, our 2-year-olds. We have 20 here in Ohio. All 20 will qualify in 2 weeks. Hold on. We have 21. 20 will qualify in 2 weeks. Duke Dio, a couple weeks behind everybody else. Goes without saying, but I was happy with him today. Wednesday. He won a mile in 2:17. No, Wednesday he got here. Thursday, mile in 2:17. He was good. Harlan L 2:4 last half in 59. He looked good. Also, the horses that have really caught my eye. Procrastinator. If you're not enamored with what's going on with Procrastinator, then you don't love horse racing. This is a horse that was worthless in December and January. I was beside myself. I didn't know what I would do. We gave him the time. We did right by the horse. Gave him time off to get healthy. Brought him back. The horse, looked adequate. We took him out, had him in, and then took him out of the Ohio sale. And it was only end of April through May, he started to look good. And man, he looked good. He jogged the other day, schooling 2-1 last quarter and 28 apiece, and looked like a nice horse. Massive Profit has looked fantastic. He won a mile in 2-1 the other day, as did Rose Above It and Voyage of Ice and Fire. And then on the Ontario side, I'm hearing great things from, obviously, Miss Mildred, Mischievous Rose, Arches Rainbow, Blue Bayou Dio. I could go on and on and on. We get some horses that are jumping up and looking really, really, really good. So, I take my hat off. I have to go race in the mud again. Barf. I will be done in a moment. And then Amy and the kids came to Pennsylvania. We're going to stay overnight, go in the pool, get a bite to eat, just relax. This is what the start of the summer should feel like. So I hope you guys had a great week. I really do. I hope you have a better week next week, as always. And I'll be back. Still got tons of videos to do, but none will be today. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care.